In today's fast-paced and competitive business environment, simply working hard is not enough. To achieve sustainable success, organizations must ensure that every department, team, and individual is pulling in the same direction, working toward a common vision. This is the fundamental purpose of goal setting and key performance indicators, KPIs. They serve as the compass and the speedometer for an organization, guiding its strategic direction and measuring its progress. Good morning. Let's now dive into the specific context of our discussion this morning. In the complex tapestry of a modern organization, individual contributions are the threads. While each thread may be beautiful on its own, it is only when they are woven together with purpose that they form a coherent and powerful whole. This is the essence of linking goals, the strategic practice of ensuring that every objective, from the highest echelons of leadership to the daily tasks of an individual contributor, is connected and aligned. This interconnectedness is not a mere administrative exercise. It is the very foundation of sustainable growth and competitive advantage. Why linking goals matters. Unified direction and preventing drift. A business, at its core, is a collective of individuals striving towards a common purpose. Without a clear and unified direction, this collective energy becomes fragmented and inefficient. 1. Unified direction, from vision to action. Linking goals provides a clear line of sight, transforming a broad, often abstract, organizational vision into tangible, measurable actions. This alignment acts as a powerful cascading mechanism. Organizational goals. These are the high-level, strategic objectives that define the company's long-term aspirations. They answer the question, where are we going? E.g., become the market leader in renewable energy. Departmental goals. Each department then translates the organizational goal into a specific objective for their function. They answer, what is our part in getting there? E.g., the R&D department's goal is to develop a more efficient solar panel prototype. Team goals. Teams within the department further break down the departmental goal into their specific contributions. They answer, how will our team contribute? E.g., the engineering team's goal is to reduce the manufacturing cost of the new prototype by 15%. Individual goals. Finally, each individual employee sets goals that directly support their team's objectives. They answer, what is my specific contribution? E.g., an individual engineer's goal is to design a new circuit board that reduces material costs by 10%. This chain of command, where each link strengthens the next, ensures that every single person, regardless of their position, understands how their daily work directly contributes to the overarching company mission. This clarity fosters a sense of purpose and shared responsibility, turning a collection of individuals into a cohesive, high-performing unit. 2. Preventing drift, the cost of misalignment. Imagine a rowboat with 4 people. If everyone is rowing with equal effort but in different directions, the boat will simply spin in circles. The same principle applies to an organization with misaligned goals. When departments, teams, or individuals work in silos with conflicting or disconnected objectives, the results are catastrophic. Wasted effort and resources. A marketing team might spend a significant budget on a campaign to attract a certain type of customer, while the sales team is focused on closing deals with an entirely different segment. This creates a disconnect that leads to wasted time, money, and talent. Confusion and low morale. When employees don't understand how their work fits into the bigger picture, it leads to confusion and a sense of futility. This lack of purpose is a primary driver of disengagement and employee turnover. Missed organizational targets. The most significant consequence of misaligned goals is the failure to achieve the very targets the company set out to reach. If the pieces of the puzzle don't fit together, the final picture will never be complete. The constant need to reevaluate, reprioritize, and course-correct due to misaligned efforts drains an organization of its productivity and momentum, making it difficult to adapt to market changes and seize new opportunities. Google's OKR model, a masterclass in alignment. No discussion on linking goals is complete without mentioning Google's famous objectives and key results, OKRs, model. The model is so effective precisely because it institutionalizes the principle of goal alignment. Objectives. These are the big, ambitious, and qualitative goals. They describe what needs to be achieved. They are aspirational and inspiring, e.g., launch a revolutionary new product that delights users. Key results. These are the measurable, quantifiable metrics that track progress towards the objective. They define how success will be measured, e.g., achieve 1 million daily active users, reduce latency by 50%, achieve a 4.5/5 user rating. Google's OKR system is not just about setting goals. It's about making them transparent and interconnected, top-down and bottom-up. While the overall company OKRs are set by leadership, teams and individuals are encouraged to propose their own OKRs that align with the company's direction. This bottom-up contribution fosters a sense of ownership and autonomy. Radical transparency. Google makes all OKRs public to everyone in the company. An engineer in a satellite office can see the OKRs of a senior vice president. This transparency ensures that everyone understands the priorities and how their work fits in. It also prevents internal conflicts and promotes collaboration. Clear contribution. Each individual's OKRs are directly linked to their team's OKRs, which are linked to the departmental OKRs, and so on, all the way up to the top-level company objectives. This creates a clear line of sight, so every employee knows their contribution to the company's success. This is a powerful motivator. For example, if Google's top-level objective is to dominate the mobile search market, a team's OKR might be to improve the speed of search results on Android, and an individual engineer's OKR might be to reduce the loading time of a specific search component by 10 milliseconds. This chain reaction demonstrates how a seemingly minor task can have a direct impact on a massive organizational goal. The difference between a wish and a plan lies in its specificity. While many organizations and individuals harbor ambitions of growth, success, or innovation, these aspirations often remain unfulfilled without a structured framework to guide their execution. The SMART Goals framework is that essential structure. It is a powerful and widely adopted methodology that transforms vague, qualitative ambitions into clear, actionable, and trackable objectives. More than just an acronym, SMART is a strategic discipline that is fundamental to effective goal setting and, by extension, to sustained organizational growth. Deconstructing the SMART acronym. The true power of the SMART framework lies in its 5 interconnected components, each one a crucial filter that an objective must pass through to become a truly effective goal. 1. S. Specific, clearly defined, leaving no room for ambiguity. A specific goal answers the fundamental questions: who, what, where, when, why. It leaves no room for interpretation or guesswork. A vague goal like improve customer satisfaction is a good intention, but it's not a goal. A specific goal, however, might be implement a new customer feedback system to identify and resolve top 5 common support issues. This level of detail provides clarity and direction, ensuring that everyone involved understands the precise objective. 2. M. Measurable, quantifiable, allowing progress to be tracked. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. A measurable goal includes a metric, number, or quantity that allows for the objective tracking of progress. This component is what transforms a goal from a hope into a verifiable outcome. Without a measurable component, it's impossible to know whether the goal has been achieved or how far away you are from it. The goal increase sales is unmeasurable. Increase Q4 premium subscription sales in California by 4% is measurable. The number 4% becomes the tangible target that progress can be compared against, providing a clear benchmark for success. 3. A. Achievable, realistic, and attainable given available resources. An achievable goal is one that, while challenging, is still within the realm of possibility. Setting unrealistic goals can be demotivating and can lead to burnout and a sense of failure. The achievable component forces an honest assessment of resources, time, and skills. For a small startup, a goal to acquire 50% market share in 1 year might be unachievable, while increased market share in our niche by 5% might be a more realistic and motivating target. Achievability does not mean easy. It means that with dedication and effort, the goal can be reached. It's about setting a challenge that inspires, not one that discourages. 4 are relevant, aligned with broader objectives and strategic priorities. The relevant component is the most strategic of the 5. It asks, is this goal aligned with our larger mission and vision? An individual or team might achieve a goal perfectly, but if that goal is not relevant to the organization's strategic priorities, the effort is essentially wasted. A marketing team's goal to get 10,000 new social media followers is great, but is it relevant if the company's primary objective is to acquire high-value enterprise clients who are not active on social media? A relevant goal ensures that all efforts are contributing to the company's strategic direction, preventing the disjointed and misaligned efforts that hinder growth. 5. Time-bound, set with a clear deadline for completion. A goal without a deadline is merely a good intention. The time-bound component creates a sense of urgency and provides a clear end date for the goal. This forces action and prevents procrastination. It also allows for the clear definition of success or failure. A goal to launch a new product is open-ended. A time-bound goal, however, is launch a new product by Q3 2026. This deadline provides a concrete time frame for planning and execution and makes it clear when accountability for results will be measured. The synergy and strategic impact of the SMART framework. The true power of the SMART framework is not in its individual components, but in their synergy. Each element acts as a critical check on the others. Specificity makes the goal understandable. Measurability makes it trackable. Achievability makes it realistic and motivating. Relevance ensures it is strategically important. Time-bound makes it urgent. This strategic interplay transforms a vague ambition like increased sales into a clear, actionable, and strategically sound objective like increased Q4 premium subscription sales in California by 4%. This single statement provides a roadmap for the entire sales team, a metric for the marketing team, and a benchmark for management. It eliminates confusion, fosters accountability, and drives focused action. In an organizational context, the consistent application of the SMART framework across all departments and levels creates a culture of clarity, accountability, and results. It simplifies communication, provides a common language for discussing progress, and ensures that all efforts, from the smallest task to the largest project, are aligned and purposeful. The SMART framework is therefore not just a tool for setting goals. It is the strategic foundation upon which effective planning, execution, and growth are built. We've talked about the big picture, why goals matter, why they need to be linked, but now we're going to get our hands dirty and talk about how to make them truly actionable. Imagine we're not just writing a business plan, we're building something. The SMART framework isn't just a fancy acronym, it's our blueprint. And the first 2 letters, S and M, are the foundation. They're what turn a vague idea into a tangible project. Let's start with S for specific. Think of it like this. A vague goal is like telling your team, go build a house. They might come back with a teepee, a skyscraper, or a houseboat. You haven't given them the details they need. A specific goal, on the other hand, is like giving them architectural drawings. It answers the W questions. What, who, where, when, why? What are we doing? Who is responsible for it? Where will this take place? When will it be completed? Why is this goal important? Let's look at the example on the board. Vague goal. Improve customer satisfaction. This sounds noble, doesn't it? But as a manager, if I give this to my team, what do? Do they start smiling more on the phone? Do they send out a survey? Do they redesign the entire support website? It's ambiguous. It gives them no clear direction. Now, let's make it specific. Specific goal. Reduce average customer service response time from 5 minutes to 2 minutes for all online inquiries by end of Q3. See the difference? We've answered all the W questions. What? We're reducing the average customer service response time. Who? The customer service team, or a specific individual within it. Where? For all online inquiries. When? By the end of Q3. Why? The implicit why is to improve customer satisfaction, but now it's tied to a concrete action. This specific goal tells the team exactly what to focus on. They can now start to brainstorm strategies. Okay, we need to improve response time. That means we should probably hire more people, or maybe we should use an AI chatbot for common questions, or maybe we should reorganize our ticketing system. It provides a clear target and enables them to start problem solving. It's the difference between aiming at a broad wall and aiming at a bullseye. Now, let's move on to M for measurable. This is where we put numbers to our goals. A goal without a number is just a dream. The M in SMART is the reality check. It forces us to define success in concrete, quantifiable terms. It answers the question, how will we know when we've arrived? Or how much do we need to do? Let's go back to our examples. Vague goal, increase brand awareness. Again, sound great. We all want our brand to be known. But how do we measure awareness? Do we send out a survey? Does it count if one person knows us or 1,000? What if a bunch of people know us, but they think we're terrible? See the problem? It's not just about a number. It's about a clear, objective metric. Let's make it measurable. Measurable goal. Achieve a 15% increase in social media engagement, likes, shares, comments, across all platforms by the end of the fiscal year. Now we have a clear ruler for success. The number 15% is our benchmark. The specific metrics, likes, shares, comments, are what we'll be tracking. At the end of the year, we can pull the data from our social media analytics. We either hit the 15% mark or we didn't. There's no room for debate or subjective interpretation. This gives us clear evidence of our progress. And here's a crucial point. The S and M often work together. You can't have a truly measurable goal unless it's specific. And a specific goal is often made better by adding a measurable component. Think about it this way. A vague goal is a destination with no map. A specific goal is a destination with a map. A measurable goal is a destination with a map and a GPS tracker that tells you exactly how far you've traveled and how close you are to arriving. In business, we can't afford to just hope we get there. We need to be able to see our progress, course correct if we're going off track, and celebrate with confidence when we've succeeded. That's the power of making our goals specific and measurable. It's what makes our intentions actionable. We've laid the groundwork with specific and measurable, which are all about clarity and tracking. Now we're going to talk about the final three letters, A, R, and T. These three are all about strategy and motivation. They are what transform a technically sound goal into one that is actually inspiring and impactful. Let's start with A for achievable. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Shouldn't we always aim for the stars? Isn't an impossible goal what inspires us? That's a great question, but here's the thing. There's a fine line between an ambitious goal and a demotivating one. An achievable goal is realistic and attainable given your current resources, your team's skills, and the constraints of your environment. It's a goal that makes people say, that's going to be tough, but I think we can do it. It's not about playing it safe. It's about setting a target that is challenging enough to stretch your capabilities without being so far out of reach that it leads to frustration and burnout. Think about it from an employee's perspective. If a manager sets a goal that is clearly impossible, like increase sales by 500% in 1 month with no additional resources, the team will quickly become disengaged. They'll feel like it's a pointless exercise, and their morale will plummet. The effort they put in will feel like it's going to a black hole. On the other hand, if the goal is increase sales by 10% in the next quarter by focusing on our top 20 clients, that feels achievable. It's a stretch, but it's grounded in reality. The team can see a clear path forward, and the effort they put in feels like it will actually lead to a result. An achievable goal creates a sense of empowerment and momentum. It's the engine that drives progress forward, not the brick wall that stops it dead. Next, let's talk about R for relevant. This might be the most strategic component of the entire framework. A goal can be perfectly specific, measurable, and achievable, but if it's not relevant, it's a waste of time and resources. A relevant goal is one that aligns directly with the broader organizational strategy, mission, and vision. It answers the question, is this goal important to the overall success of the business right now? Here's an example. Let's say your company's strategic vision for the next year is to expand into the international market. A sales team's goal to increase domestic sales by 15% is specific, measurable, and perhaps achievable. But is it relevant? Not really. It's not aligned with the company's core strategic direction. A more relevant goal would be land 5 new enterprise clients in Southeast Asia by the end of the year. This goal is a direct contribution to the company's new strategic priority. Relevance is what prevents disjointed efforts and silos within an organization. It ensures that every team and every individual is contributing to the same ultimate destination. It links the individual's effort to the company's purpose, giving their work a greater sense of meaning. Without relevance, you can have a team that is incredibly productive and efficient, but they might be rowing in a different direction than everyone else. Finally, let's discuss T for time-bound. This is perhaps the simplest but most powerful component. A goal without a deadline is a wish. The time-bound aspect gives the goal a sense of urgency and provides a clear end date. It sets expectations and facilitates accountability. Imagine I tell you, build a new website. Without a deadline, you might get around to it in a month, 6 months, or never. There's no pressure to act. Now imagine I say, build a new website that is mobile responsive by October 31st. Now you have a clear timeline. You can plan your work backward from that date. It creates a sense of urgency and tells everyone involved exactly when the project needs to be completed. Deadlines also make it easy to measure success or failure. At the end of the specified time period, you either met the goal or you didn't. This clear-cut result makes it easy to hold people accountable and to learn from the process. If you miss the deadline, you can analyze why. Was the goal unachievable? Did we lack resources? Were there unexpected setbacks? This allows for continuous improvement in your planning process. So, in summary, these 3 components are the glue that holds the SMART framework together. Achievable goals are motivating and realistic. Relevant goals are strategic and purposeful. Time-bound goals are urgent and accountable. They work together to ensure that our goals aren't just well-defined on paper, but that they're also practical, meaningful, and most importantly, get done. The entire SMART framework, when used properly, is the difference between an organization that just survives and one that consistently grows and succeeds. We've spent a lot of time on the theory of goal setting, specifically the SMART framework. We've learned how to make our goals specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. That's a huge step forward. But setting a goal, even a smart one, is only half the battle. Now we need a way to track our progress. We need a way to know, with certainty, if we're on the right path. This is where we transition from SMART goals to key performance indicators, KPIs. Think of it this way. Your SMART goal is your ultimate destination on a road trip. It's arrive at Los Angeles by 5 p.m. on Friday. The KPIs are the vital signs of your trip. They are your speedometer, your fuel gauge, and your GPS. They tell you, are we going fast enough? Speedometer. Do we have enough gas to get there? Fuel gauge. Are we on the right road? GPS. Without these indicators, you're just driving blindly, hoping you'll arrive on time. In a business context, that's a recipe for failure. So, let's define it clearly. KPIs are the critical metrics that track progress toward achieving your SMART goals. They're the vital signs of your business, the metrics that matter most. Now, a very important distinction to make. Not all metrics are KPIs. This is a common mistake. People track everything they can, and then they wonder why they're drowning in data but have no clear insights. A metric is just a number. For example, number of website visitors is a metric. But is it a KPI? Not necessarily. It only becomes a KPI if it is directly tied to a strategic goal and provides actionable insight. A KPI answers the question, are we succeeding in reaching our objective? It provides a clear, actionable signal. Let's look at the example on the board. SMART goal. Increase Q4 premium subscription sales in California by 4%. This is a great, well-defined goal. We know exactly what we're aiming for. Now, what are the metrics that will tell us if we're on track to hit that target? We could track a lot of things. Number of emails sent, number of social media followers, website visitors from California. These are all metrics, but are they our most important indicators? Not really. They don't tell us directly if we're going to get that 4% growth in sales. So we identify our KPIs. These are the levers we can pull to influence the outcome. Relevant KPI, website conversion rate for premium subscriptions. This is an excellent KPI. Why? Because it directly measures the effectiveness of our sales funnel. It tells us of all the people who visited our website, what percentage actually converted into a paying subscriber. If this number is going up, it's a strong indicator that we're on the right track to hit our sales growth goal. If it's going down, it's a red flag. We can then dig deeper and ask, why are people not converting, and take corrective action? What are some other possible KPIs for that same goal? Number of qualified leads. This is a leading indicator. It tells us if we're generating enough interest from potential customers. If this number is low, we might not have enough people to convert in the first place, and we know we need to adjust our marketing efforts. Average deal size. If we're not getting a higher number of subscribers, maybe we can hit our 4% revenue goal by increasing the value of each subscription. This KPI would tell us if that strategy is working. Notice how all of these KPIs are not just numbers. They are actionable. They give us insights that allow us to make informed decisions. Let's recap the difference. Metric, any data point. Example, number of likes on a social media post. KPI, a critical metric that is tied to a strategic objective and provides actionable insight. Example, social media engagement rate, used to track a goal of increasing brand awareness among a target demographic. The key is to select only a handful of KPIs for each goal, the ones that are truly vital. If you have too many, you'll fall into the same trap as just tracking every metric. You'll lose focus. A good rule of thumb is to have no more than 3 to 5 KPIs per major goal. So, as we move forward in our strategic planning, remember this powerful sequence. Define your ultimate destination with a SMART goal. Choose your navigation system and vital signs with a few key, actionable KPIs. This is how we turn abstract strategy into concrete, measurable, and ultimately successful execution. This is how we move from simply working hard to working smart. All right, everyone, let's bring it all together. We've established that SMART goals are our destination, and KPIs are the vital signs that tell us if we're on the right track. But here's the next critical question. How do we choose the right KPIs? It's easy to get overwhelmed with data. You could track 1,000 different metrics, but most of them won't actually help you make a decision. This is where we return to our trusty SMART framework. It's not just for setting goals. It's also a powerful set of guiding principles for developing effective KPIs. By running our potential KPIs through the SMART filter, we ensure that we're measuring what truly matters. Let's go through each principle again, but this time through the lens of KPI. First up, S for specific. A specific KPI is one that measures exactly what you need to know. It's not just a broad number. Vague KPI, number of social media followers. Specific KPI, growth rate of followers on Instagram among the 18 to 24 age demographic. See the difference? The vague KPI doesn't tell you if you're reaching your target audience. The specific KPI does. It's like a laser, not a floodlight. It answers the question, what exactly should this KPI measure? You need to be precise. Next, M for measurable. This one is a given for a KPI, but it's important to formalize it. A KPI must be quantifiable. There must be a clear number, percentage, or rate that you could track. It answers the question, how will progress and success be quantified? Example, if your goal is to improve employee satisfaction, a measurable KPI could be Employee Net Promoter Score, ENPS, of 70% or higher. The ENPS is a clear, single number that you can track over time. It makes a subjective concept like satisfaction objective and measurable. You can't just feel your way to a result. You need to see it in the data. Now for A for achievable. This principle for KPIs is about making sure that the KPI itself is a realistic reflection of what you can actually accomplish. It answers the question, is the KPI realistic given resources and constraints? Example, let's say your goal is to reduce customer churn by 5% in the next quarter. A potential KPI could be number of proactive customer service check-ins. But is your team staffed to make thousands of proactive calls? If not, that KPI, while well-intentioned, isn't achievable for your team and will lead to frustration. A more achievable KPI might be implementation of a new automated email sequence for inactive users. It's a metric you can realistically influence with your available resources. An achievable KPI prevents you from setting up a system for failure. It grounds your metrics in what is practical. Then we have our for relevant. This is arguably the most crucial principle. A relevant KPI is directly tied to your strategic goals. If the KPI goes up or down, it should directly indicate whether you're succeeding or failing at your objective. It answers the question, does this KPI align with strategic goals? Example, your company's goal is to increase profitability. Your sales team is tracking number of phone calls made per day. Is this relevant? Not really. A salesperson could make 100 calls a day and close 0 deals. A more relevant KPI would be revenue generated per sales representative. This KPI directly aligns with the company's financial goal. It measures the outcome, not just the activity. This is the principle that forces you to separate vanity metrics from actionable, valuable indicators. If the KPI doesn't connect to your strategy, discard it. Finally, T4 time-bound. A time-bound KPI has a clear time frame associated with it. This is tied to your time-bound goals, and it creates a sense of urgency. It answers the question, what is the time frame for achieving the KPI? Example, the goal is to launch a new product by Q4. A time-bound KPI could be complete 80% of beta testing feedback implementation by October 31st. This deadline for the KPI makes it clear when you need to have a specific level of performance to stay on track. Without it, you can't tell if you're ahead of schedule, on track, or falling behind. The power of the KPI dashboard. When you apply these SMART principles to your KPIs, you're not just creating a list of numbers. You're creating a powerful strategic dashboard. A well-designed KPI dashboard provides a real-time, at-a-glance view of your organization's performance against your key objectives. Think of it like the cockpit of an airplane. The pilots aren't looking at 100 random dials. They're looking at a few critical indicators, the airspeed, the altitude, the fuel level, that tell them if the flight is on course and on schedule. Similarly, a good KPI dashboard should provide a clear, real-time picture of where your business stands. It allows leaders and teams to make data-driven decisions. Is our website conversion rate down? We need to run some A/B tests on our landing page. Identify problems early. Is our customer satisfaction score dipping? We need to address the root cause before we start losing customers. Celebrate wins. Is our market share growing month over month? Let's recognize the team that made it happen. All right, everyone, let's take a moment to look at the big picture. We've gone from the very high-level concept of setting goals to the nitty-gritty details of the SMART framework, and even how to create powerful KPIs. But all of this hard work means nothing if it's done in isolation. The true power of goal setting and KPIs isn't in the individual parts. It's in how they all fit together. This is the principle of organizational synergy, the idea that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And we achieve this synergy by linking individual, team, and organizational KPIs. This creates a powerful cascading effect that ensures every single person in the company is pulling in the same direction. Think of it like a river flowing to the ocean. The organizational goal is the ocean, the ultimate destination. The departmental and team goals are the tributaries and streams that flow into the river. And the individual goals are the raindrops that feed the streams. If even one of those raindrops is flowing in the wrong direction, it can disrupt the entire flow. But when they're all aligned, it creates an unstoppable force. The cascading effect in action. Let's use an example to make this concrete. Organizational goal: the ocean increase annual recurring revenue, ARR, by 25% by the end of the next fiscal year. This is the big company objective. Now, what does that trickle down? Departmental KPI. The sales department's KPI would be close 120 new enterprise-level deals. The marketing department's KPI might be generate 500 qualified leads. The customer success team's KPI could be achieve a customer retention rate of 95%. See how each of these departmental KPIs is a direct tributary to the main river of increasing ARR. They all have a specific role to play in achieving that one big company goal. Now let's go one level deeper. Individual KPI. The raindrop salesperson on the sales team has the departmental KPI of closing 120 new deals. Their individual KPI might be close 20 new deals per quarter. This makes their personal contribution clear and direct. They know that every deal they close is one step closer to the team hitting its target, which in turn helps the company achieve its revenue goal. A marketing manager's individual KPI might be generate 150 qualified leads through the Q3 webinar campaign. They know that their success directly supports the sales team, which in turn helps the company. This cascading effect isn't just a top-down mandate. It should be a two-way street. Individuals and teams should understand the big picture and then be empowered to set their own KPIs that align with the goals above them. The benefits of cascading KPIs. When done right, this system provides a number of powerful benefits for the organization. 1. Accountability. When goals and KPIs are cascaded, there is clear ownership at every level. The salesperson is accountable for their 20 deals. The sales director is accountable for the team's 120 deals. The CEO is accountable for the 25% ARR growth. There's no room for, "That's not my job." Everyone's role in the success is clearly defined. 2. Transparency. This cascading system requires transparency. Everyone in the organization, from the intern to the CEO, should be able to look up and see how their work connects to the bigger picture. When you can see that your small task of fixing a bug is directly tied to the company's goal of improving user experience, it makes your work feel more meaningful. This transparency builds trust and helps people understand the why behind their tasks. 3. Collaboration. This is where synergy really happens. When departmental goals are interdependent. For instance, the marketing team's goal of generating leads is dependent on the sales team's goal of closing them. It naturally encourages cross-functional teamwork. It breaks down the silos. The marketing and sales teams have to communicate and work together to ensure they both hit their targets, because their success is linked. 4. Motivation. This might be the most powerful benefit of all. When an individual can see a clear line from their daily efforts to the company's success, it is incredibly motivating. They're no longer just doing a job. They are contributing to something bigger. This sense of shared purpose and collective success boosts morale, increases engagement, and helps retain top talent. People want to feel like their work matters, and a cascading KPI system shows them, with data, that it does. We've laid out the blueprint for success. We know how to set powerful, actionable SMART goals. We know how to track them with effective KPIs. And we understand the absolute necessity of aligning everything from the top down. But here's the reality check. A great blueprint doesn't guarantee a great building. You have to anticipate the challenges, the hidden traps, and the potential pitfalls that can derail even the best laid plans. So, before we conclude, let's talk about the most common mistakes organizations make and, more importantly, how we can avoid them. Think of this as your practical guide to staying on track. 1. The pitfall of vague or unrealistic goals. This is the most fundamental mistake, and it often stems from good intentions. Leaders want to be ambitious and inspire their teams, so they set goals like become the best in our industry or achieve massive growth. The problem: these goals are too broad. They lack specificity and measurability. When a goal is unrealistic, like increase market share by 50% in 1 month, it's not motivating, it's deflating. Employees see it as a pointless exercise, and they become cynical and disengaged. How to avoid it. This is where our SMART framework is your first line of defense. Before you ever communicate a goal, run it through the SMART filter. Is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it truly achievable, given your resources and time frame? You could be ambitious and realistic at the same time. The best goals are stretch, but they're never impossible. 2. The pitfall of confusing metrics with KPIs. We talked about this before, but it's such a critical point that it's worth revisiting. Organizations have access to a dizzying amount of data today. It's easy to fall into the trap of tracking everything because you can. The problem, when you treat every metric as a KPI, you dilute your focus. Everyone starts watching too many data points, and no one knows what truly matters. It's like a pilot trying to fly a plane while watching the cabin temperature, the coffee maker status, and the tire pressure on a landing gear, all at once. You lose sight of the most critical indicators for flight: airspeed and altitude. How to avoid it? Be disciplined in your selection of KPIs. For each SMART goal, choose no more than 3 to 5 truly critical indicators. These are the metrics that, if they move, have a direct and significant impact on your ability to achieve your goal. Remember, a KPI is a data point tied directly to a strategic objective and provides actionable insight. 3. The pitfall of lack of alignment, siloed efforts. This is one of the most common organizational dysfunctions. A company's departments are like islands, each with its own goals and priorities, and they rarely communicate. The problem, when goals are not cascaded and linked, you get wasted effort and internal conflicts. The marketing team might be focused on generating a high volume of leads, but if the sales team is only interested in high-quality, pre-qualified leads, a major disconnect occurs. Both teams are succeeding at their own goals, but the company is failing to meet its overall revenue target. How to avoid it? You must be intentional about creating that cascading effect we discussed. As a leader, it's your responsibility to ensure that department and team goals directly support the organizational objectives. Use regular cross-functional meetings to review goals and KPIs. This ensures everyone understands how their work fits into the bigger picture and helps them identify interdependencies and potential conflicts before they become a problem. 4. The pitfall of stagnant goals. The final mistake is treating your goals and KPIs like they're carved in stone. You set them at the beginning of the year, and you don't look at them again until the year-end review. The problem, the business world is not static. Market conditions change, new competitors emerge, and internal performance can fluctuate. A goal that was relevant in January might be completely irrelevant by July. If your goals don't adapt, your strategy will become outdated, and you'll be driving a car using a map from last year. How to avoid it? This is where our tip for success comes in. Implement a regular review process. I'm not talking about just an annual review. You need a quarterly or at least semi-annual check-in for all goals and KPIs. This is your chance to ask, are our goals still relevant given the current market? Are we on track to hit our KPIs? If not, why? Do we need to adjust our strategy or reallocate resources? Have new opportunities emerged that require new goals? This dynamic approach keeps your goal-setting framework alive and relevant. It transforms it from a static document into a powerful tool for navigating a constantly changing business landscape. All right, everyone, this is it. We've covered the entire journey, from the foundational philosophy of why goals matter to the nitty-gritty details of the SMART framework, the power of KPIs, the necessity of alignment, and the common pitfalls to avoid. Now, let's bring it all together and create our final roadmap. This isn't just a summary. It's a call to action. It's your step-by-step guide for taking all of this knowledge and putting it into practice. Think of this as the path forward, your roadmap to success. 1. Begin with clarity. Start with SMART goals. The very first step is to get your head out of the clouds and get specific. You can't build a house if you don't know what kind of house you're building. Action. Schedule a session with your team or your department. Don't start with, what are we going to do? Start with, what do we want to achieve? And as you define that objective, immediately run it through the SMART filter. Is it specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound? If you can't answer yes to all 5, go back to the drawing board. Why it matters. This initial step of clarification is the most important. It's the difference between a vague wish and a concrete plan. It ensures that everyone, from the very beginning, is on the same page and understands their targets. 2. Measure what matters. Develop robust KPIs. Once you have your SMART goals, the next step is to choose your navigation system. You have your destination, but you need to know how you're going to track your progress along the way. Action. For each of your SMART goals, identify the 3 to 5 most critical metrics. These are your key performance indicators. They are not just random data points. They're the indicators that tell you if you're on track to achieve your goal. For instance, if the goal is to increase market share, a KPI might be number of new customers acquired per month. Why it matters. This step provides you with actionable insights, not just raw data. It allows you to transform abstract goals into a real-time performance dashboard. You can see, at a glance, what's working and what's not, allowing you to make informed, data-driven decisions. 3. Foster alignment. Create a cascading system. This is where the magic happens. You've defined your goals and your metrics, but are they working together? You need to ensure that every individual and every team is contributing to the overall success of the organization. Action. Once the high-level goals and KPIs are set, cascade them down. Show each department and each team how their specific goals and KPIs feed into the broader organizational objectives. Then, empower individuals to set their own goals that directly support their team's efforts. Hold regular cross-functional meetings to review progress and identify any potential conflicts or areas where collaboration is needed. Why it matters. Alignment is the foundation of organizational synergy. It breaks down silos, promotes seamless communication and accountability, and ensures that all efforts are channeled toward shared success. When employees see the direct impact of their work, it fuels motivation and fosters a culture of shared purpose. 4. Achieve and adapt. The culture of continuous improvement. This is the final, ongoing step. Your roadmap isn't a one-and-done plan. It's a living document. Action. Regularly monitor your KPIs. Don't just wait until the end of the quarter. Track them weekly or even daily, depending on the goal. This constant monitoring allows you to see both successes and potential problems in real time. Implement a quarterly or semi-annual review process where you analyze your performance, celebrate your achievements, and most importantly, adapt your strategy based on what the data tells you. Why it matters. The market is constantly changing. Your competition is not standing still. By being dynamic and willing to adapt, you ensure that your goals and KPIs remain relevant and your organization remains agile. This process of continuous monitoring and adaptation is what separates a good company from a great one. Final thoughts, the guiding philosophy. Remember this, what gets measured gets managed. It's a simple phrase, but it is the guiding philosophy behind everything we've discussed. When you don't measure something, you can't manage it. It becomes an abstract concept that no one is accountable for. But when you apply the principles of clarity, measurement, and alignment, you empower your organization to not just set goals, but to systematically manage and achieve them. By diligently applying this roadmap, you're not just setting targets. You're building a culture of purpose, accountability, and continuous improvement. You are empowering your teams to understand their contribution, to work together, and to drive sustainable growth and success. This has been a fruitful lecture. See you in our next meeting. Keep safe.